I look dark. Like am I look like I'm in the dark?
No, you look well lit. You look you have a glow to you.
Oh,
Do I
good.
have, do I have too much light on me? I feel like the sun is like right there.
No, I feel
Okay.
like this side is a little darker than the other.
Oh, like this side right here.
Yeah,
That's all I'm gonna do one of these. This is the dark side of Kirk. The light
look
side of Kirk.
at you. Physically, you're ambiguous.
Yeah, even more so. I'm like, I wasn't ambiguous enough. I gotta mess with the shade of the sun that hits my skin.
Proper Ebonics.
Welcome to Property Ebonics.
Yeah, man, we're back, man. I feel like it's what's that? So is that 3 weeks? Or is that two? Is it two or three?
I feel like that's about about 3 weeks or so. About 3 weeks or so. So we have a lot to unpack. This is going to be a 4-hour episode because we have a lot to cover over the last 3.5 weeks.
You know what? You know what's funny? Like when we record, we like try to like cover what happened, but we usually only cover like the last 2 or 3 days that happened in the news cycle. You know what I mean?
I know, because like I'll go down the news, I'll try to think like what did happen 2 weeks ago that we didn't talk about, and I'm like I genuinely don't remember. I'll remember like maybe like one large thing, but otherwise it's like exactly what you said, like what happened on Thursday,
Hmm.
and we kind of just go from there. We're very current. Our show is just very current topics. If there's something that we didn't cover, if Pierce Bronson was to break into a Wells Fargo in a national scandal 3 weeks prior, we may not cover that if we weren't recording a week of that happening. So we're just very current people, very contemporary.
Sorry, Pierce, you're gonna have to commit crimes more regularly around here
Mamma mia. Yeah, it's,
to get any airtime.
yeah, mom. What have you been up to? What's been popping in Alan's world?
Good. Running around, comedy, getting back in the streets, over the last 3 weeks, you know what I'm saying? Last night, I performed at Soul Joe's last night.
Nice.
So that was fun with Cypher Sounds, Willis Events. They have a show called the Chemistry Set.
So,
They host it, they riff on stage, and they got comedians come out and do their thing, and then after you do your thing, you get to riff on stage with them too. So it's
oh,
yeah, so it was cool, man. Like I'll be honest, that's what we do on here. That's what we do here. So the show was it was good, it was a lot of energy, but it wasn't a lot of people. You know what I mean?
it was in what, Potts Grove or Pottstown?
Pottstown, you know what I
Okay.
mean? So it was surprising for me, but it was because like normally those shows are like packed out, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, but it was cool though because like I already going with the state of mind, like yo, 2 people, 20 people, 200 people. I'm gonna give it everything I got. So you know what I'm saying. So, but the host did the same thing. So when the host got it going, energy's live from the beginning. It's easy for the comedians to take it, run with it. You know what I mean? So it
Yeah.
was cool, man. It was a good night. You know what I'm saying?
Was it a hip hop themed show? I feel like Cypher Sounds definitely did like a hip hop show before, but I haven't heard of this one.
Yeah, this one wasn't that. This one wasn't that. Yeah, no.
Okay.
I do know what show you're talking about. But yeah, this is something different. They started this during the pandemic.
Funny enough, I was actually going to consider coming to the show. I saw it earlier in the week, and I was like, I'm not doing anything Friday, and then I ended up cat sitting, which is why I'm in this setting right now. I was supposed to cat sit just for today on Saturday, and then they're like, "Hey, would you mind coming in a day early, or would you be able to?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure." It's pays extra. Got to hang with the cats. But I hope it was a good time overall, though.
Do you like put your cat sitting services on like Craigslist? Because you like
Yeah,
always sitting somebody's animals. Like how you can get these
yeah.
gigs?
I'm realizing that now. It's funny. I'm doing it again next weekend too. A lot of times, friends just reach out to me. Friends just maybe I may have mentioned it to a friend, like, oh yeah, like I dog sit for a friend. Maybe they listen to the podcast and I was like, oh yeah, he talks about pet sitting a lot. So people just reach out. Next week it's a dog. Shout to Trevor. That I've never.
Is Trevor the dog?
Yeah, Trevor's a dog. Yeah, Trevor's a dog. Trevor's cool. Trevor is the dog. And Trevor and I have always got along, but never dog sat with him before. So their owner just hit me up like on Thursday It's like, hey, next week, by chance, are you available? And I was like, oh yeah, I like Trevor. So like, yeah, I'll do that.
That's your rep on the street. Like everybody got their thing on the street. You know what I'm saying? Like Kirk, like is known as the house sitter and the cat whisperer or whatever you do, man.
I'll be whispering to cats. Huh? That's last night. The one cat, Remy, is kind of aggressive. Aggressive. Like you walk past Remy and he'll hiss at you / paw at you. And I learned last night that he has claws. I did not realize that before. He's kind of aggressive in that way. However, throughout the day, he started to warm up a little bit to the point where he sat on the couch today. So I'm feeling pretty good about that. So I did a little nonverbal whispering, and we'll see what comes out of it. Remy may be a guest on the podcast eventually.
Kirk, the cat sitting comedian. Who would have thought?
Yeah. I would have thought if you asked me 5 years ago, like, yeah, where would you be in 5 years? I'd be like, well, probably doing a lot of pet sitting, some comedy. It's
so funny the things we get into as we become adults. Like when you were a kid, did you know you were going to be doing something like this? No, you couldn't have known that.
I didn't even know about the concept of pet sitting as a kid. I think I just assumed that everywhere, like you went on a family trip to like North Carolina or Argentina, you're bringing the pets with you. I just kind of assumed that's how all sitcoms worked. You never see anything about like the Jetsons hiring like a nanny to watch the dog. Like they would just go to Mars with the dog.
Right. Oh, I love it, man.
Do you have any equivalents of that? Of like, I feel like comedy is a big one for both of us, just in general. Like as a kid, you think like, oh wow, would you be doing that? But beyond that, do you have any, whether it be like hobbies or activities that you routinely do that's just like, I would never thought I'd be doing that.
It's my whole life. Like this is not, I don't know, like this is not what I thought. So this is what I thought my life was going to go like. I was going to be in the NFL. Like that's what was going to happen. Who needs to lift weights? Who needs to work out? I'm just going to go because I'm good, right?
Yeah.
And so that didn't work out. You know what I mean? So
what do you think you're going to be? Were you going to be like a running back?
No, I was a wide receiver.
Oh, nice.
I played wide receiver in college. You know what I mean? Like but it didn't pan out. You know, I had kids that didn't like. I didn't like. I was like, you know, like a lot of women, like they'll see like their happily ever after, their husband, their kids, their dream house, they have it all figured out. Like I felt like because that's what's sold to them. Like that's what Disney sold to them. That's what's like pushed. You know what I mean? Like men, we're not sold that. Like, oh, here's Prince Charming living happily after all. Like it's not like the story we always see. You know what I'm saying? So like I never thought like, yo, I'm gonna have kids. Like I know I was gonna have kids, but like I didn't know when and I, you know, how, whatever. So like once I had kids and like once I stopped playing sports and like my life just like nothing is what I thought it would be. Nothing.
Is there anything that you think did pan out exactly how you thought it'd be?
Nothing. I don't. But it's the thing. It's this the funny part. I'm super happy though with where I'm at, like with being a comedian and chasing my dream and my kids being who they are. You know what I'm saying? So like, it's not like I regret anything. I just didn't foresee any of this. You know what I mean?
Yeah, a lot on my end too. Like as a kid, one of the first jobs that I thought that was going to be for a while, I was like, I'm going to be a judge. And then it was like one of those things in like sixth grade where they're like, what do you want to be? And I was like, judge. And Mr. Cobb, he was like, you know, you got to be a lawyer first. So then for the next like 5 years, it's like, I'm going to be a lawyer. Eventually I may be a judge, but I'm mainly going to be a lawyer. And then somehow that transferred into, I'm going to be a film critic. Roger Ebert and Richard Roper. That was kind of my go-to. And then, professional wrestler, I'd say that one was a big one for a while. To the point that I didn't really think like realistically I'd be like wrestling. I thought I'd just have some sort of involvement of like, oh, maybe I'll be a referee. Like that was a true aspiration for a while. Like I think I could be a referee for WWE.
It makes sense because at first you were like, I want to be a judge, and then you were like, I want to be a wrestler. I'm like, that's just not. But then referee makes sense. Okay, yeah. Judge, referee, I get it. That's more your speed. You know what I
mean? Yeah, and I'm tapping into it that way. I just want to assess situations.
That is so good. But if you were like a wrestler, though, the judge could be your character. Yeah. And the gavel can be your finishing move.
the gavel, the finishing move. It just releases all people that have been locked up for marijuana charges. I banged the gavel. Everyone's out. That'd be my
Yo,
right there.
it's crazy you brought the marijuana charges because I seen a story. NFL player. I can't. No, was it a basketball player? Man, I forget who it was. Was it Montrezl Harrell?
Michael Jordan. Are you thinking of Michael Jordan?
Yo, I'm mad because I don't remember who it was, right? But what the story was they got caught trafficking marijuana over state lines, and I was just like, you can if you still get put in jail for weed? Like, come on, man. He's not trafficking. He's just doing exactly what the government does. You know what I mean? Like they move weed from one place to another. Like, come on, man. I was like,
he's just going on his trip.
oh, yeah, right.
Yeah, it gets tricky with those whole state line things. And I don't know the law enough because I did not practice. Like I said, I went into being a film critic once I realized the ins and outs of law. But I don't even know how they determine that, because if you're traveling in state and you're just driving, it's not like they have checkpoints. Like you're at the toll line. It's not like they have like, I mean, I don't know. Maybe like down the south, maybe that's the case or whatever. But there's no like dogs sniffing things out. Like I don't know how they catch people when they're going from state to state.
Out of state plates. You know what I mean? So it's like your license plate. They see your license plate. They know it's out of state. They can, if you live in Pennsylvania and they pull you over in New Jersey, you cross state lines at some point.
Oh, that's annoying. That's like, it's not like you get pulled over for something else regardless, and then from there, if they find anything, they could determine if it's over. Yeah, even that though, it's like, say if you're coming in from you have a Vermont license plate and you're going to Delaware to pick up a bunch of fireworks, and you're in Delaware, you pick up the fireworks, and then you go to Pennsylvania.
Right.
As I'm saying it, I'm realizing this example does exactly like they're like, oh yeah, you clearly are from Vermont. At
some point, you cross. They don't know if you cross state lines before or after you picked up the fireworks. It don't matter.
Yeah.
You can't prove you didn't. So
yeah. That's why all of my dynamite sticks, I make sure that it's in state that I pick it up. I do not want any dynamite sticks charges. For those listening and they're worried that I'm talking about illegal explosives, I'm not. I'm talking about dynamite sticks, food.
You definitely don't want those charges,
man. No. Also, I don't really. You're not like a firework person. I'm not. I guess I'll watch fireworks. But I don't really like. I'll dangle them around.
Yeah, I'm mad. I'm not like, yo, can't wait to light these M16s. Like I don't. Like yeah, I don't. I watch them.
Cool firework though. I never heard that M16. I heard that like in GoldenEye. I've never heard that in terms of celebrations and fireworks.
I think the M16s are the ones that shake the block. I'm not sure. I have to do my research on that. But like I said, then you don't want to get those out of state, cross the state border charges, man. You don't want to get any kind of charge nowadays, man. Speaking of charges, man, you see Aries Spears and Tiffany Haddish being charged with some sort of, I don't even know the actual crime, but it's sexual
allegations of they're framing it as full-blown pedophilia from like the reports that I saw. I don't know if different ones, but like I'm curious to hear what you heard about it.
So what I did hear is they're suing them. It's not a crime, the cops are after them or anything like that. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's not like they're gonna go to jail. The charges could be brought up. Like,
some serious charges, some serious allegations. At least it's from my understanding, it's like the mom of one of the children. So for those who know, Tiffany Haddish, Aries Spears, it's being reported that they made a comedy sketch video about pedophilia and involved underage minors, and allegedly they didn't tell the parents what the video was for. One report showed that they had mentioned that it was for Nickelodeon and it was recorded inside Aries Spears' home. Apparently the content of the video was dicey. I'm not going to get into the details of it. Also, I don't fully know the full-blown details, but from the stuff that I did see of what they had participants do, it was definitely on the line of, oh my gosh, like, yikes.
So did you, just to see where you're at? Did you see the videos?
No, I saw that it was up on Funny or Die under like the user generated video, and then eventually it was taken down like around 2018. But are they still available? Is that, I don't even know what's in the videos full blown like that. But have you seen it?
So my first thought when I first heard the allegations or whatever, I'm like, yo, this is crazy. Like, I hope this ain't true. Like, this is bad.
Yeah.
And I'm like, and I was thinking it was like they said they have like the sketches that they took down online. So when I read that, I was like, if they had the sketches, these sketches is out here in these streets somewhere.
Yeah.
Sure enough, last night we at the show in the green room, comedian pulled out his phone. He's like, yo, they just put the videos on Twitter.
Okay.
Bro, like I should have sent it to you. I wasn't even thinking. Like, it's bad.
Really?
Like, it's at one point they got like Aries Spears in his underwear and the kids like rubbing oil on him and vice versa.
Hey.
And vice versa. At one point the kid's in the bathtub and Aries Spears gets in the tub with him fully clothed. Like,
was it like comedy? Well, like was there
it was definitely an attempt at comedy. It was definitely, like, I could tell they were trying to be funny. They were trying to make a point that watch you leave your kids around. Like, yo, just because this is the concept that's out here. Watch you leave your kids around in a comedic way. But this was 2013, 2014. Like, nah, bro. I'm not shooting a skit like this. I'm not letting my kids shoot on skits like this. Like, so I think that's where it all comes in at. Like, I think that the kids told the mom that they felt uncomfortable and that they were being forced to do things that they didn't want to do. That's the problem. I don't think the problem is that, like, I don't think the problem is the content. You understand what I'm saying?
Like,
because if they talk to the mom and the mom talked to the kids and everybody understood what was going on and what was the point of what was happening and everyone agreed and there was no like pushing people to do things that they didn't want to do. If everybody was on the same page and you shot that stuff,
yeah,
I think that's one thing. But once you start lying, manipulating, forcing people to do things they don't want to do, that's when you cross the line.
That's when it's like, in what sort of intent is there? Like, why wouldn't you tell the parents unless you thought it was something was a little fishy about it, sort of thing?
Yeah, and it's in the report they were saying the kids were saying like, "Yo, I don't want to do these things," and they were kind of like forcing them to do things they were saying they didn't want to do. They were crying and they like so it's like that's the part. So yeah, the videos had dropped. The videos do not make it look better, but if everyone was on the same page with that, they'd be different. But they weren't, and this don't look good, bro. These videos are bad. Like, it looks. If they were forcing these kids to do these things that were on the tapes,
right? What
it ain't.
It's like off the tapes. Like, what was it? A production company, or was it just Tiffany Haddish and Aries Spears just doing something independent?
I think Funny or Die, you independently upload your own content to it. So I don't know if anybody else is a partner of theirs on this. I'm pretty sure if they were, they'd be in a lawsuit.
Yeah, it's just wild to think that it was on that website for like a while. And I'm kind of curious what made it. I'm thinking it was probably because the mom had been, one of the moms was voicing it more. So that's why it kind of came to light. Because other than that, I never really knew like Aries Spears and Tiffany Haddish having like a partnership like that. When I saw those two names linked together, I was like, oh, this is like a random thing. Is it like, are they like some sort of gambling ring? I thought it was something like that. And it was not a gambling ring. It was a little bit more ominous.
Aries Spears, the bookie.
Yeah, I know. Bookie.com. That's where you can find the video.
Tiffany running numbers. No, but look, no, I knew about their partnership. Like, I knew about their whole sketch thing. I've seen their sketches before. I had, because I think someone had posted them a while ago because they weren't good. And people were like, oh, what's this? Or whatever. But I think that what happened was once they got uploaded to Funny or Die, like the mom never seen the content. And once they got uploaded to Funny or Die, somehow she got wind of it or something. And then she reached out and I think it got taken down. And Funny or Die was like, oh, snaps, we didn't know this was even on here because we don't upload our own stuff. You know what I mean? So it's like, we don't know what people put on. Like, we don't know. until somebody flags it. You know what I mean? Like,
Now we got to go through Funny or Die and see what other kind of videos are on there. We may need to like take some things down, let them know if they're not checking it, someone has to.
right. They got to be a Funny or Die police out here.
They, as a kid, I didn't think I'd be house sitting, nor did I think that I'd be regulating videos on Funny or Die. But here we are, and I'm ready to take on that action and the responsibility.
Judge Kirk is here.
Bang, bang.
Judge Griffiths. Yeah, man. So it ain't looking good. Like, I feel like I said, the lawsuit happened. If criminal charges don't come right immediately after, I don't know. Like, it ain't looking good.
Yeah, I'm not going to use my law degree to say what I think may happen, sort of thing. But it was wild with the Aries Spears. I feel like I always hear something with Aries Spears. He's always doing like kind of like the Vlad TV interviews. I think he recently just said a bunch of stuff about like Lizzo. So people were upset about Aries Spears with that, and I thought, because I kept seeing his name over and over, and I assumed it was that. I was like, oh man, I guess he went double on Lizzo. And then I saw the story of what it was. I was like, all right, that's one way to distract everyone from the whole Lizzo scandal. That's definitely one way to go about it.
People were saying that Lizzo had her people pull this up and do this.
Oh my gosh, yeah, maybe. That could have been a thing. Aries Spears trying to buy NBC. Lizzo's like, I'm not having it.
Or like the Lizzo Hive or whatever they called. I don't know.
The leases.
What'd you call it?
The leases.
The lease. They're not cars. The leases.
I was doing a association with L. Then for some reason it made sense to me. I'm gonna go with it. The leases.
The loyalists.
The loyalists.
Loyal. That's how you got loyal.
Is that what they're actually called?
Oh, the lizards. That makes sense.
Yeah, that actually. I feel like she's not calling her fans the lizards, but she should consider it.
She might be calling them the lizards. Honestly, I thought he was serious about saying that.
I think he's joking. He's joking. Pat's like, no, I'm one of them. I'm one of the lizards. Lizard gang, gang, gang. That would be wild. I'm curious. So, as a comic and a father, and someone that has seen these videos, if you were asked to feature for Aries Spears, how do you feel about that now?
No. What? You kidding me? No way, Jose.
No way, Jose.
No way, Jose. No way.
Because of this video, or you just don't really rock with this kind of material?
Because of this.
Yeah.
There's no amount of money you can make me put my name on this. No.
Now, if you were asked to feature for Tiffany Haddish.
No.
Yeah?
No.
Okay.
No. This is no way. No.
It's a big name right there.
And?
Yeah.
Would you like? I'm not even like. Would you?
I would. So right now it's like allegations. I haven't seen the video. It all sounds bad. I would definitely want to look further into it because you hear so many different things. But it seems like this one's it's growing to be pretty concrete. But right now I don't know enough about it. I would look more into it before giving like a solid yes or no. But if it were like a thing where like definitely true, like right now, like, oh, this just happened. Can you open for Haddish in Reading tomorrow? I mean,
two shows, 2,000 a show right now, tomorrow. You doing it?
Want to play? You put me on the spot right now. 2,000. That's like 3 cat sitting gigs right there. That's like it's pretty good.
What kind of cats are you babysitting? Tigers? What is this?
Yeah, I say 3. I'm like more like 8 or 9 at times.
Listen, I'm not doing it, bro. I'm not putting my name. So look, they're allegations, but the world we live in, you innocent until proving you guilty.
Yeah,
until proving innocent. I mean, like, you're guilty until you prove your innocence. Once you prove your innocence, okay, we can talk. But in the heat of this, no way. You can't.
Yeah, in the heat of it, sort of situation. Bruce Patcher just doing the show and burying them, like maybe not even necessarily burying them, but doing it of like, I'm not attached to them. I'm doing a show just like how I would normally do a show. There's a crowd here. I'm going to be performing for this crowd, and I'm not necessarily hanging out with people afterward. I feel like that.
Okay. So that's no, you're not. So what's going to happen is the people in the audience going to know what you tried to do. Everyone else going to think that you just performed with Tiffany Haddish.
Oh, like if you try to bury them, sort of thing.
Yeah. So like people outside don't know you burying them. They just see that you performing with Aries Spears right now, and they hear his allegations. They don't
Yeah.
know what you. They don't know what you said in there. But you gonna record the whole thing and put it out like, yo, look, this is what I did to him. Like,
I think most people actually would take that route. I think that's
probably.
exactly the route that people would take. Like, yeah, I recorded the whole set for this huge crowd that did in this pretty notable gig that I got, and I'm gonna record. I'm gonna put captions up. um, yeah, that would be an internal struggle. I don't think it's funny. I think former guest of the show, David James, he's performing, I think, in Houston, and it's like the main stage has Aries Spears, and David James is like on the side stage. So like he may have some interactions. I wonder if he's going through an internal struggle at all. I don't think so, but
I know that I seen that he was getting action on Twitter. People were like responding to him like it's like on the thing online. It looks like he's performing with Aries
yeah.
Spears.
I was like, it looks like he's featuring.
That is so funny. I just want to say for the record, I hope these allegations aren't true. I do. I hope they're not true, man, for the sake of these kids, because that is traumatizing, bro. Like that is traumatizing. And Tiffany Haddish, I like Tiffany Haddish, man. I rock with her. You know what I'm saying? I would love to open up for Tiffany Haddish. I would love to. You know what I mean? But just for my career right now, I'm not in the position to be taking that kind of heat. Like, And I don't agree, and I don't agree with forcing kids to do anything. So, if that's the case, can't rock with that.
Yeah, no, it's good to draw lines, both personally and professionally. We'll see. I'm gonna keep an eye out on this one. I didn't know about their partnership, so like I said, I was surprised to see Tiffany Haddish involved. I don't think I'm gonna watch the video. I don't know if I want that on my phone. I don't know the severity of it, but from what I'm hearing, it's like, oh, that's rough. Even just like the name of the sketch, it's like but we'll keep an eye out for different progresses and see what happens with it. And one thing that's been happening, and some people have been seeing levels of progress and perhaps even some levels of regression. There's been a lot of talk about dating apps and single men, and the impact that it's having on single men. I don't know if you've heard this at all. As someone that's like in a relationship, booed up, have you heard what the streets are saying about single men and dating apps?
I've been hearing a little clamoring, but I'm not too in tune with what do you guys what's going on over there with you single guys?
Yeah, I know, right? Let's play the single guys music. So yeah, pretty much they're saying that with dating apps, the increase of it, there's been a higher expectation for men in some ways to be more emotionally available, which is
I did see this. I did see.
In a lot of ways, that's a good thing, encouraging if you're regardless of what gender you are, whatever, your partner, you want them to be emotionally available for you, ideally. And I think that's not a bad thing to push at all. The other side of it is the suggestion that women have more selections in general now with dating apps, and more of almost an expectation for themselves in a way, where they're able to go through what's deemed as like the top quality single men. So they're able to have, like, say there's 60 dudes on a dating app, there'll be maybe like 10 of them that are getting more responses from those other 60 women, sort of thing. So like they're saying like there's like 50 dudes that are not really getting any responses and are being I don't know how they phrase it, but continuously rejected, and increased levels of loneliness that's heightened by the dating apps. And that's very much what people are suggesting now with some of these studies. And as a single dude, I could say there's that's the thing. I'm kind of on both sides of it. I feel like I'm not in that group of 50 dudes that are getting like no responses. Your boy's getting responses.
You're part of the 10.
I mean, that's the thing. I don't know if I'm completely part of the 10, but I feel like I'd be doing guest spots into the 10. Like I'm in
part
like,
of the top 15.
yeah, I feel like I'm in the top percentile of that, and then there'll be like waves where like I'm in the 10. So it's like I see almost both sides of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, there can definitely be times where you may feel like there's not many opportunities to meet other people, and you may rely too heavily on something like a dating app. And when it is like from the things that we just mentioned, when that's the case, and you may feel like you're putting a lot of energy out and not really getting anything back, sometimes you may feel a little dejected, and may like affect even like self-esteem a bit. But you also, I feel like, have to step back and recognize like that's, whether it be like algorithms or like just dating apps in general, like take time to try to meet people different ways. Whether that's like going to the park, hanging out with your boys, and like meeting people that way. A lot of times going in with a team is helpful.
Yeah.
Met someone through a mutual friend recently, which is wild. It was like the friend was like, hey, I think you would get along with this other friend. I was like, oh, all right. Yeah, it was that part was wavy of like, oh, this wasn't like when you do like the dating apps of like you meet someone, and it's like the whole purpose of the meeting is like, oh, well, we may be dating sort of thing. And it almost feels like a novelty in a way, like having it the other way around, where it's like, yeah, we were introduced through another person, and it almost like kind of vouches for one another. So that's another way people could consider too.
Yeah, that was literally one of the things I was going to say is if you're not having success on the app, change how you going at it. It's insanity if you keep doing the same thing, expecting different results. You gotta go. You gotta go outside, go meet people at work, speak.
Yeah.
Like that's what you gotta do. Mutual friends. Talk to people out in public. Like you have to do it, switch it up. Go to the bar, go to the museum. I don't know, go to church.
Yeah.
Like we said before, go to the grocery store.
Oh yeah, that was your move right there. I saw Honey do it at the grocery store. We're thinking like, do I say something like hey, what would you say is the best brand of macaroni and cheese? I don't know what the opener would be, but I would not my bag, no pun intended, but yeah, that is something that people can do.
You gotta just once you lock eyes like twice, like you see me, seen you twice, then you can just be. You don't even got to do a fancy pic. Hello, how you doing? Yeah. Good. How are you? How am I? There you go. You ain't even got to do. So I see you're making spinach tonight. Yeah. They call me Popeye. Like no, you ain't got to go fancy line.
That's the fancy line.
I don't do. Like I've never did. I was never like a pickup line guy. Like is eye contact, vibe. Oh, how you doing? Like that's it. You ain't gotta do all that.
I was more of the magic trick card guy. Like if I was in a situation, I saw a deck of cards. I was like, yo, I know a very simple trick. It's gonna take less than a minute. Pull up on them, be like, hey, can I show you this real quick? And then before you know it, they're thinking that they know a card that they're gonna pick and which card that they just showed their friend. Really, that card's in my back pocket now. How to get there? That is actually a good approach. I won't reveal my magic tricks, but that's a approach to take as well.
I could see you at the bar just pulling quarters up on girls' ears. Like, look what I found.
Oh, smells a little dirty. I'm the worst. Yeah, so that's what we're seeing oh, good.
I'm sorry. My name's Kirk.
I once almost went to law school. Producer Pat suggests Kirk dress like Doctor Strange. That would be dapper and confusing. That'd be nutty right there.
Yeah, but that's what look, man. You guys switch it up. If you're not having success on the apps, you gotta switch it up. Also, like, bro, if you pretty much like you gotta step it up. Or if you're gonna be on the app, you gotta step it up on the app. Like you they don't like what they see. That's what the first thing they see is physical. You gotta take better pictures. You gotta get better picture quality, get the angles popping, do fun stuff, post fun pics, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Out doing you just don't be sitting at your computer like no, like be on top of a mountain or something, flexing. Like you gotta just be fun. You know what I mean? You gotta step your profile up because like they out there. Don't take pictures with your good side. Don't unflattering picture. Don't have a picture with a bunch of dudes either. Like not a bunch of dudes in your pictures. Like come on, no frat bros and all that. Stop all that. You know what I'm saying?
If you do have a group photo, because at the same time you may want to show that you are social and you have friends and such. Don't make it your like top photo. Don't make that like the first photo you see where it's like, all right, well, there's 9 of them. Like it's like that's to me, and when you see that for other people as well, for women included, it kind of makes me wonder, like, oh, well, it feels like there's an insecurity attached to it.
Bingo.
Of like,
no baddie, no, right, super confident and got the swag. Gonna have a cover picture with 6 people. No, you're gonna be on that joint by yourself.
Yeah,
saying cheese.
And then that's the pose you're gonna do for it. It's funny. This is one thing that I suggest for men and for because they're not doing reports on it, but if women are facing this as well, take yourself out on a date. Take yourself out on a date. It could be something fun. It could, I was going to say escape room, but I always feel like that would be one of the sadder things to do a escape room by yourself. But if it's something that you're into puzzles, consider that as well. Do something fun. If you end up climbing a mountain, take a photo while you're at the top of that mountain. And then maybe that's what you display on there. But try to have fun by yourself as well. And try not to rely too much on dating apps in general. But try not to rely too much on finding security through another person. Like, I get it, that part's cool and it feels nice, but you want to try to get yourself right first.
Oh, stop it, Kirk. Everybody wants to hear that.
What do you mean?
Don't listen to that.
What does that mean?
Get yourself right. Everybody wants to be lonely. Go out there and get some. Go get laid.
It's not necessarily like well, all right. So I'm not saying like spend time all by yourself. Trust me, your boy, I don't like spending time all by myself. But if you're constantly like looking, and it's like, all right, well, how much time are you spending towards doing things that you like to do for yourself? Like, if you're not, say, like if you're a comic and you're not doing comedy at all because you're like constantly looking for like dating, and it's like you're not doing something that you want to do, and you're being more focused on the other stuff. So there's a balance, but I think that's a part of it too.
Yeah, it has to. I feel like I agree with you. It has to come naturally too. Like when you force something, it's not going to be what it's supposed to be. Like when it comes to jokes, like when I force a joke, I'm like, oh, I know this person is funny, but I just can't get it. I try to force it, try to do it on stage. It just doesn't work.
That's aggressive joke telling right there.
I had a joke I had said. It wasn't even a joke. It was like a Facebook post years ago. I said when it comes to writing jokes, like don't force it. It's like sex, because if you do, the person on the receiving end is not going to appreciate that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like just let it come naturally. You know what I'm saying? Let it happen naturally. Same thing with dating. I'm telling you, man, you gotta lock eyes with people in public, and they do wonders for you. All that swiping, you're gonna drive yourself crazy.
Yeah, that's definitely, man. With that, I want to get some prop suggestions.
Just do it.
Prop suggestions. I have 2 prop suggestions for this one. We haven't recorded in 3 weeks, so I'm going to do 2 prop suggestions, and you're welcome to do 2 as well if you'd like. The first one. So for those that follow UFC, you may have saw the Kamaru Usman versus Leon Edwards for the welterweight champion. Crazy match that I won't get into because if you watch this, you probably already know. Leon Edwards pulling out a surprise win via head kick knockout. And Kamaru Usman, who is on a 15-fight win streak, has been dethroned as a welterweight champion. And a lot of people are curious, like, how is Kamaru handling the situation? He recently, as of yesterday, did an interview on Joe Rogan Experience podcast. So I've been listening to that. I'm about like an hour and a half in. It's very insightful. of someone that is, I won't even say was, I still think is at the top of their game, at their like prime in a lot of ways, and how they deal with defeat with so much pressure on them, and kind of seeing how he navigates that and how he talks about that and grace he carries with it. I definitely recommend that.
Mm. Where can you catch that at?
That was the Joe Rogan podcast experience, the Joe Rogan experience. It's a Joe Rogan show on Spotify.
Oh, because when you said experience, I know if there was like another branch of his podcast.
Oh yeah, no, I think like that's the full name, Joe Rogan Experience.
I don't think I ever knew that.
Yeah, it sounds like a virtual reality situation, but it's not. Yeah, Joe Rogan Experience. The episode before that had Shane Gillis on there. He kind of just like pops up, so feel free to listen to that one as well if you'd like. So that's one I would recommend for one. Two, we're talking about like taking yourself out on a date. Your boy took himself out on quite the date a few weeks ago. Went to Bushkill Falls up in the Poconos.
Okay.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. That was so delightful. So went up there. I think last time we spoke, I was talking about going to Vermont. I ended up canceling Vermont trip and did local stuff as, just around the area. Before the night before, did Helium. Like went there to watch the Phillies Funniest Finals.
Yeah.
And in the morning, woke up and got an Airbnb in the Poconos. And before going to Airbnb, went to Bushkill Falls, where they have like 8 waterfalls and like 4 different hikes that you can do. And that was quite the journey. Have you ever heard of this place?
Yeah, I used to work up in the Poconos, so I used to be at Bushkill. I don't think I've been to Bushkill Falls, but I've been in the area.
It was random. It was so I'm doing the long red line trail, which I didn't plan on doing. I was just like, oh, I'll check it out for a little bit. And then I was like, all right, well, I'm midway through, I guess. And then it just started to downpour. Like, to the point where it was almost like frightening. It was like, because it almost feels like you're in the forest. And like, there's like a trail eventually, but there's a part where there's no real trail. You're just kind of walking.
Yeah.
And it just started downpouring. And I was like, oh, goodness, I'm like, there's no one really around me. I had an umbrella, which looked ridiculous, but it helped out. But overall, it was a good experience. The shoes have dried up by now. Met a traveling nurse on the path. We ended up just kind of walking together for the last like mile or so.
Yeah.
Shout out to her. We didn't even exchange names. We were just vibing. She was talking about her and her family always go like Disney World, and she wanted to do something solo. Like, oh, that's good on you for doing that. So yeah, it was. I definitely recommend people. It's 2 hours away from like central PA/Philadelphia. If you want a nice getaway, Bushkill Falls.
Bushkill Falls it is. All right, that was your 2. Here goes my 2 suggestions for the people. Number 1, September, is it 11th? Yeah, September 11th. Football starts.
Okay.
That's Sunday. So I'm telling y'all now, I need to watch the Philadelphia Eagles. I suggest it because they're gonna be very good this year. Like, we picked up a lot of good talent at positions that we need. And the look you give me right now, Kirk, is like, you don't believe me? But like, I'm telling you, like, I suggest that you guys do not miss a game this year because we're going to the chip. Like, that's what's going down. Like,
that's optimism right there, man. That's pretty good.
Yeah, because like we just got all the pieces we needed in the offseason to like our key spots we needed. We got like every position that was like lacking. We picked up a good player in that spot. It's happening.
Do they switch like the outfits? Do they have like a new mascot?
So I'm gonna need you to call them uniforms.
What I call them, outfits.
Outfits.
Yeah, they wear outfits.
It's not an outfit, Kirk. It's a uniform.
Really, I've seen them rocking outfits.
Cops wear outfits.
Yeah, they wear outfits too.
Do pilots wear outfits? No, it's a uniform. You ever hear ladies say, "Oh, I love me a man in an outfit." You never heard that?
Yeah, I guess there's a difference, outfit and uniform. I don't really necessarily know the difference, but yeah.
Outfit is your fit, what you're wearing for the day. That's your shirt and your pants. That's your outfit. That's your fit.
Okay.
A uniform is a specific attire for a job or whatever.
Okay. Yeah, I guess I could see that. I could rock with that. That's I'm like slowly believing you. I'm like, yeah, no, that's yeah, okay. Are they switching up their uniforms?
Yes, yeah, they are. So they're gonna do. They got these. They're gonna do the all black helmet, black pants, black shirt, with like the green and white logo. It's gonna be fire, bro.
Oh, all right.
So I suggest that, and I recommend everybody check out the Eagles this year. Second thing, I know we're at like the tail end of the pandemic, so people aren't using Zoom as much. But every time you open your laptop, you should always wipe off the camera. That, and I suggest this because I did this about 5 minutes ago, and I feel like I look a lot clearer now.
You did
So
do
for,
that, yeah.
so for like so for like 45 minutes of this podcast, I was like a blurred mess, and I didn't even know the whole time. Like me, look, you look a little bit. No, you look a little good. You know what I'm saying? But like in the beginning, me and Pat was setting up. I was trying to get like the correct lighting. I was like, it just doesn't look right. And like not one time did I think to like just rub off my camera or wipe off. I should say rub off.
Rub off on my camera. What? You sure you're not opening for Aries Spears? What? That's wild.
Oh, that's called the problematic tour. Oh man, it's a Cosby going headline that John.
Yeah, it's the feature is going to be Aries Spears impersonating Bill Cosby. You know, I got to tell my stepdad about this. He always randomly like will come up and be like, "Oh, you know, it's like really funny. The guy who does impressions. And I'll name like 6 people that do impressions, and then eventually he like will pull up a thing. It's Aries Spears every time. I mean, to break his heart this weekend. Like,
you are going to destroy that man.
Yeah, he's. I feel like he doesn't watch a lot of black comedy, and like so like that's like his like go to a lot of times of like, oh, you know who's like solid, you know. It's like, I haven't seen anyone this funny since Bill Cosby. Like, I gotta like break him off with something.
It's probably Aries Spears is probably the guy. He always tells you, "Hey, Kirk, you know what you need to do? You need to give Aries Spears a call." That's what you do. Email Aries Spears if you ain't got nothing to do tonight. Like what? But like people outside of comedy have no idea what it takes to get certain things. You can't just call the comedy club and perform.
It's kind of wild because like I feel like in any job you can't do that. Like if you wanted to be a lawyer, it's not like you just like call the top lawyer and be like, "Yo, what's good?" Like you have to strategize a little bit. Comedy is definitely a bit more like you have to work on your stuff. But I feel like that's for any profession. It's these dads out here just being like, "Yo, call people."
I feel like it's because they don't take it seriously.
Yeah.
So like like you said, a real job, you can't just call. Like I can't just call a bank and become a teller. Like, hey guys, I'm broke today. I'm just come in. You know, like you can't do that at any other job. So it's like maybe because they don't take us seriously, they look at us like clowns. Like, hey, call your clown buddies and see if you can do some clown things tonight. You know what I mean? Some circus activities.
Yeah, that dad's a dickhead. Even just hearing it, like, oh gosh, clown activity.
Clown activities, man. So before one more topic that we had on the list that I wanted to talk about is the Joe Biden student loan thing.
Yeah,
I mean, you know, he got the thing where his plans to forgive $10,000 of student loan debt and $20,000 of debt if you have a Pell Grant.
Yeah.
How you feel about that? Is it helping you out? Lee?
Yeah, I don't know if they like finalized. Yeah, it looks like that's what they're aiming towards. It's cool. It's better than nothing, I suppose. If it is finalized, it is something that I think would actually impact like my account and all that. Yeah, it's good. I think there's a lot of arguments from people that have either paid their student loans off or people that feel that their tax money is going to go towards student loans and towards a lot of people that are either struggling to pay their student loans or can't because they got a degree that many may perceive as not beneficial financially. I'm with it though. I was trying to put myself in a position of like, if I didn't have any student loans, or if I paid off student loans, how I would feel about it. Like, would I be like, oh, well, put all that work in. I paid this off, and now you're giving the discount now. But I don't know. It's like, say, like if you bought like a PlayStation 5 in like September, and then November they're like PlayStation 5s are half off. Would you feel like you got scammed, or would you feel like, oh, I got something because I wanted to get something, and I'm not just gonna wait around for whether it be a discount or opportunity like that. I'm gonna just do me.
Some stores let you come back with your like and get that discount.
Yeah.
So like do you think that people should get like a $10,000 check if they pay their things off?
That's not a bad idea. I'm sure many of the people that have been arguing that side of it wouldn't be too upset about that idea of like getting 10,000 if you did successfully pay off your student loans. I wouldn't even necessarily be opposed to that. I wouldn't even necessarily.
But then now you gotta look at like what's the line? Like where do we draw the line? Like it's like you paid off your student loan debt within the last year, so you get a check,
right?
Because like there's always going to be somebody right on the cutoff point who's going to be upset.
Yeah. There's going to be like, if they do something like that, I get where there'd be a bunch of complications. Yeah, I mean, maybe having it by year, like if you paid it off within the last like 5 years or so. Yeah, I get why that would be tricky. I haven't even thought of that. It's a good idea in theory.
So like, what if the person, say you did like 5 years, the person that paid their debt off 5 years and 2 days ago, you're gonna tell them, oh, you paid it off 2 days too soon, you can't get $10,000 check. Like that'd be, could you imagine that?
Yeah, I mean, as on in your position, how do you feel about this?
So my position, I don't have no student loan debt, never have.
Right.
Like I never have. This doesn't affect me. It's none of my business. Like I'll make jokes about it. I'll say things like, because I'm pretty sure Joe Biden ran on the promise of clearing student loan debt. Like that was the promise at first was to
one of them, yeah.
So it was funny because he tweeted. He was like, I'm going through one of my campaign promises. I'm giving guys $10,000 debt. I'm looking around like, who promised? It's not what you promised. Like you didn't.
Yeah.
That's not what you promised, man. That's like you. She promised you something when you get home and you just get a hand job. Like that's not what I wanted. I take it.
That's nice though.
Take it.
Yeah.
But that's not what you promised.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, I don't know. Like I think it's messed up. I just wish you would just clear it off. I just wish that's what I wish for everything.
That would be nice. That would definitely be wavy. I go through phases where I'm like, oh, okay, like I feel like I could handle student loans, and there's times it's like, oh my gosh, I got like just overwhelmed with them. I don't even. That's like a soft. That was a sensitive topic for me. Like I'll have like a close friend ask me like, how much do you owe, and I'm like, I'm not revealing that. Like it's not like a crazy amount, but it's still like a hefty amount. That it would be nice if that was just gone. I also understand part two of like the other side of it of, as someone that borrows it, you're the one agreeing to borrow that amount of money. I think there's a lot of people that suggest like if you're 18, maybe predatory, 17, 18, and you may not understand it completely, which is true because that's definitely the case for me. I did not understand a lot of those things. I think also though, like that's, while that in nature, because it's so much money, it can be life changing. I think that's definitely like a unique, not even necessarily unique, but something that should be looked into and considered in terms of how much money you're giving out to like these young people. At the same time, when it comes to decision making, I think that's a part of being a young person. Like you may not understand the ramifications of, say, drinking and driving when you're 17, 18, but there's still ramifications that come with it. And it's not to say like, okay, well, if you're 18 and you do something like that and something terrible happens, that should nothing happen at all in terms of consequences? Like, should you not have to deal with that decision? Or I don't know, does that make sense at all?
If the police give you a bottle of alcohol when you're 18 and then they pull you over for drinking and driving, is that fair?
No, yeah, that's not fair at all. Yeah,
that's what these loans are. They're giving you these loans. They shouldn't be giving you these loans. That's not fair for them then to hang them against you for the rest of your life. They should have never gave you the bottle to drink in the first place.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Like, why can I get student loans, but I can't get a loan for a house? Why?
Yeah.
Why? Why can I get that loan, but no other loan?
Yeah.
You want me to have that bad debt. That's why.
Yeah, that's the one thing about it too, because they're not really doing like credit scores or anything like that. And then a lot of times it's based on like, it's less so now, I feel, at least I think, that it's almost required, the idea of like college in a lot of ways of like, this equates to success, going to college and getting these different degrees. David James, again, I don't know if you saw, he did a stand-up bit about it, but like the idea for it, I think, is actually pretty good, of like having different prices for different degrees.
Yeah.
So it's like engineer sense. Versus like communication studies. Right. And shout out to communication studies, we're in here. But like social worker versus like some sort of science degree. Like people that have to go and get like their PhDs and such. Like those should have a little bit of a different cost, and especially if you're dealing with people that they're younger, they're not fully sure what they want to do. They're aiming for things, but things change. We recognize that. Of like what you want when you're 18 is going to be different from what you want when you're 28 or 47, all that stuff. So I think that's, when I heard that, I was like, that's a funny bit, but also that's a solid idea.
Yeah, it makes sense. Cause like you said, like I shouldn't have to pay somebody that, like, the degrees don't add up because the salaries don't add up when we get out of college. So it's kind of like, why am my debt the same as your debt? If you making double what I make, well, I got to pay the same back. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
I get that, you know, but it's just, yeah, man. So the student loan thing, like, I feel for y'all. Like, I really do. I got lucky. I don't have a 4-year degree. You know what I'm saying? I got an associate's degree. But I don't have no debt. You know what I mean? Like, my debt is kids.
Yeah, it's always interesting to think about, like, because a lot of times, like, you'll get single juices like this one over here, and like, oh man, I have like no kids. I hear kids are expensive, but it's like, oh, but I have this though. It's like people always have like kind of different things.
Yeah, it's weird people say that. Like, you see a lot online, like, oh, y'all don't have kids, why are you broke? It's just like they have everything else plus more things that you may not have because you have kids. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, everybody has their own struggles. Like, trust me, like, kids are not.
Yeah, man. Well, if for those listening to all that stuff, thank you for listening. If you're going through any struggles, I know that PE is here for you. I know that you could pop on an episode of PE if you're not feeling so great. Remember, take yourself out on a date. Be careful of the video links that you click. And if you're a comedy person, go on and do some comedy.
Yeah, hit the streets, man. I was talking to a young comedian last night. Only advice I get: hit the streets, bro. Everything it's gonna be positive in the streets. Nothing's happening in your house. Nothing's happening unless you're making content. Get outside. Hit the streets, man.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Cool, man. Well, nice chatting it up with you. If you're listening, thanks again. Like, subscribe, share with a friend, and be well.
Yes. Again, thanks for listening. Peace.